Season goes by, it seems, without Wakefield and Bradford being paired in the Challenge Cup. This will be the fourth meeting between these old and local rivals in the past 6 seasons. A big crowd here at Bellevue. Many of the supporters have travelled from Bradford, which is not far away. And for those backing Wakefield, this sort of occasion must bring back memories of the great days here when the likes of Neil Fox helped them to 3 finals in the space of 4 years in the early 60s. Such is the modern game, though, that Bradford, the cup holders, start as firm favourites here. It'll be classed as a major surprise if Wakefield can upset them. Now, it's some 11 years since our BBC cameras were last here for a cup quarter-final between Wakefield and Wigan. Wigan won by 24 points to 16, but one of Wakefield's tries was scored by Gary Price, now the club's assistant coach, and he's in their side today. He's moved from wearing number 12 to number 13 and won 1 Great Britain cap in the interim. But he is a constant in this Wakefield Trinity Wildcats side. Now, many people, not least myself, inquire why we have Joe Lydon as our expert summariser. Was he a player, they ask, or is it merely a case of the BBC using the work experience scheme? Well, here's proof that he was a player from that same game. What do you remember about this, Joe?
A long time ago, but to have those days back again.
You kicked 5 goals on that occasion.
I'm sure in the decade that's passed, things won't have changed too much here because it was always tough to play Wakefield.
Some people improve with age, others, well, you judge. Team news: Wakefield's lineup lacks 2 key figures. Scrum half Brad Davis and skipper Willie Poaching both injured. Regular hooker David March is also out, but his twin brother Paul slots in alongside Martin Pearson at half-back. Fijian winger Waisale Sovatabur won the cup with Sheffield Eagles 3 years ago. Centre Justin Brooker played for Bradford last season. In the pack, Julian O'Neill was part of the St Helens team that beat Bradford in the 1997 Cup final and the 1999 Grand Final. Gary Price we've seen in the second row, the club's assistant coach, and young Tommy Hockey slotting in for only his second start at loose forward. Bradford Bulls have named the same 17 that won so convincingly at Halifax in the last round, although the coach Brian Noble has switched a couple of players round. Shane Riggin, newly recruited from the Sydney Roosters, keeps his place in the centre on the back of a Super League hat-trick against St Helens last week. Paul Deacon starts at scrum half. Robbie Paul is on the bench. And the alteration in the pack sees Paul Anderson start in the front row. Bradford have the luxury of 4 formidable props, so Joe Vanganar is a substitute today. Mike Forshaw is one of 2 former Wakefield players. The other is Henry Paul, who started his English career here at Bellevue. And on the benches, Wakefield have the Tongan, Frank Huatane, and 3 other players of 21 or younger. By contrast, the Bulls have 4 full internationals, Lee Gilmore having just recovered from a hamstring injury sustained at Halifax. Much has been made of the fact that Bradford's Brian Noble is the only British Super League coach, but Wakefield's John Harbin also has claims to being classed as British. Not that you'd know it from his accent. He's there at the front of your picture in the anorak with the closely clocked grey hair, and a few moments ago he talked with Damien Johnson.
John, how far have your preparations been hampered by injuries?
Well, we've got 4 or 5 out, but it's a squad game now, so it's not going to affect us at all. You know, the guys that we've put in, they know the job that they have to do today.
It is a difficult job you face against Bradford Bulls. How do you set about beating them?
Well, in my opinion, they're the best in the league, you know, and we've just got to give 100% for the 80 minutes and make it hard for them to play.
What about conditions out there?
Well, they're the same for both teams, so, you know, if it's rain, if it's sunny, it doesn't matter. It's the same for both teams.
Now, many people look at Brian Noble and say he's the only British coach in the Super League, but you would dispute that.
Mate, I would. I'm English, and nobody's going to take that away from me.
What is your background?
Well, I was born in England, went to Australia when I was about 9 years of age and was brought up there and I've come back.
You'd love to put one over on the other English coach?
Yeah, I would, yeah. I'm not going to be unhappy if I do.
Thanks very much, good luck.
Thanks.
John Harbin, who in fact was born between York and Leeds and brought up in Swillington Common. Now, what of his opposite number, Brian Noble, new to the job of head coach after 5.5 years as the assistant, and he started very well.
Brian, I think most people think of you as a one-club man, but you're coming back to one of your old stamping grounds today.
I actually finished my career here as a player and I was assistant coach. I ended up playing 9 very forgettable games for Wakefield, but I really enjoyed my stay here. The people here are fantastic.
Now, many people are putting you as hot favourites today. I suppose your major enemy today is complacency.
Well, I think Wakefield will disagree with that. They've got 17 blokes in there that consider themselves a major enemy, and we're under no illusion as to the task. You know, we've got to play good rugby league football, and they'll be a tough nut to crack, there's no doubt about that.
Conditions fairly heavy. I gather your players are changing the boots at the moment.
Yeah, they brought all things. We've had all sorts of weather in the last week, but the forecast is for a little bit more rain this afternoon, so it's important that they get the right footwear.
Everyone's saying you're the only English coach in the Super League. Are you enjoying the spotlight?
Probably not for that reason. I'm enjoying coaching the Bulls. They're a great bunch of blokes to coach, and I'm enjoying some of the things that we're coming up with at the moment. But my focus is not being the only Englishman. My focus is winning for the team, and that's all our focus is.
Good luck, Brian. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
And it is Brian Noble's Bradford Bulls who are the first onto this Bellevue pitch. Wakefield second to emerge, led by Gary Price, the captain and the assistant coach. A side of much less experience, the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Out of necessity, really, Joe, because this club had major financial problems about a year ago. They took on many big names, the likes of Bobby Goulding, Steve McNamara, Steve Prescott. But then they had to lose all of their players over the age of 24 when the financial problems bit. And that's one of the reasons why they're such a youthful lineup now.
That's right, they've almost had to start afresh. They've had quite a mixture of youth and experience in there, but they've almost rebuilt the whole club.
Whereas Bradford have the luxury of Robbie Paul starting on the bench. He is a player who is integral to them, but Paul Deacon, who's starting at scrum half, didn't get any game time last week in the Super League match, the victory over St Helens, and so Brian Noble has decided to start with Henry Paul and Paul Deacon at halfback.
Do you want to toss the coin? You call heads or tails?
The captains
Toss it up.
on the field at least.
Heads it is. Where do you want to run, Gary?
With the toss.
So as we are, you're kicking off. Okay?
Gary Price on the right, James Lowe's on the left, and in the middle, the referee, Stuart Cummings. He's controlled the last 2 World Cup finals, and he's also been in charge of 3 Challenge Cup finals.
Stay behind Forrest when he kicks the ball.
This ground holds 10,000 people, and it's not far short of being full. 1 or 2 seats on the far side unoccupied, but that apart, the terracing is pretty packed. And it's Henry Paul, Bradford playing in their change kit today. And you can expect that Wakefield will fight for all they're worth in this contest. They did so against Castleford in their opening Super League game last week. But history is against them. Bradford have won the last 13 meetings between these two sides, going back over 9 seasons.
The mixed two of players that we talked about is a few light this afternoon, and people like Brad Davis and Willie Poaching, influential players in the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats lineup, and they'll be missed today. They'll be missed this afternoon. It's going to be a stern test for Wakefield, make no mistake.
Martin Pearson with the kick, forcing Stuart Spruce back. And Spruce looking to launch the balls forward with the help of Michael Withers. Withers, who scored a hat-trick on this ground last season in the 5th round when Bradford won by 46 points to 0.
Bradford must be very, very confident with the wins they've had, particularly that game against Halifax, 68-18 in the last round, and they played with such style as well, using the ball, pushing the passes out and causing problems across the park, and I expect them to do exactly the same this afternoon.
Let's hear from Damien Johnson, who's down at pitch side.
Good afternoon, John. I can tell you the pitch is in remarkable condition. The groundsman was telling us that there was standing water on here early this morning, and he's obviously managed to get rid of it. Non-league Emley, who currently lead the Unibond Premier League, play on here usually, but they didn't play yesterday. They played at their regular ground down the road just to preserve the pitch, and conditions have benefited from that.
Soba Tabur, the former Sheffield Eagles wingman, he actually played fullback in the 1998 Challenge Cup final. Now Martin Holland, who's playing fullback for the Wildcats today. Soba Tabur, the Fijian international, played in all 3 of their games at the recent World Cup. Now Justin Brooker, the Australian who spent last season, rather unhappy time of it in fact, with the Bradford Bulls. Gary Price, met by Naylor. Pearson, former Featherstone and Halifax player.
Stand up and wait for his foot. Wait for his foot.
It'll be the kick from Paul March. Fielded comfortably by Michael Withers.
He was back very deep for that kick too, but you see the triangle at the back, two wingers and the full back, all ready to bring the ball back. The rest of the forwards taking a little bit of time for Bradford to get back and support, but they have ultimate confidence, I think, in those three.
And two. Wait for his foot, Gary. Wait.
It's the 20th time that these two sides have been drawn together in the Challenge Cup. Bradford lead by 12 wins to 7.
3. Make it here. Come on,
and they've won the last 6 meetings. It's 33 years since Wakefield last beat Bradford in this Challenge Cup.
4.
James Lowes, so dangerous from dummy half. Henry Paul to Paul Deacon, and Deacon will kick crossfield to test for Sobotabur. Withers up with him. Oh, well taken by Sobotabur, and he turns and races towards the other end of the pitch, but is quickly scragged and brought down. With opportunistic play by the winger.
Well, there was competition up for the catch, and he could have gone Bradford's way, but Sobotabur did exceptionally well, kept his eye on the ball and managed to make good yards away from the danger area.
That'll give Wakefield a bit of confidence in defence.
I was going to say, give Bradford a little bit of a fright as well. Paul Deacon had to scurry across after making the kick, just to make sure that Sobotabur didn't progress upfield.
Ben Router playing at hooker today in the absence of the injured David March. Router wearing 18 there with the ball to Julian O'Neill, and now to Gary Price, and he'll kick high, testing out Michael Withers this time. He too is secure and safe. Shane Rigon scored a hat-trick against St Helens last week. Paul Anderson. Stuart Spruce joining the line. Bradford, the cup holders, aiming for yet another semi-final. It would be their 5th in 6 years if they make it through. Scott Naylor.
Again in evidence, Bradford willing to offload the ball in the tackle. There must have been 4 players from Wakefield surrounding Jamie Peacock, still manages to get the ball off, and now Henry Paul with a high kick to test Sobotabur yet again.
Well, he wasn't found wanting last time, but this time he was put under more pressure, and it's come out to Michael Withers. Withers almost up to the line, and Tutupu grabbed hold of him. It's the last tackle, and it'll be the handover. Wakefield have survived for now.
I'm not sure if Sobotabur actually touched that ball. I think one of the two of the Bradford players thought that ball should have been back to one, and he made an attempt at it.
3.
You suggest from the early kicks that they've targeted the big Fijian, Bradford.
4. Wait for his foot.
On the wing.
Go there, Daniel.
Wesley Sobotabur, they're going to put a lot of high kicks up to him.
Last. Come on.
It'll please you, Joe, because you clearly enjoy saying his name.
40-20.
Here's Pearson's kick. 2 bounces and sits up obligingly for Spruce.
Okay, tackle 1.
Vicona. One thing you can be sure of with Wakefield is that they will give a stout and honest performance. A reflection of their coach's character, John Harbin. Very straightforward. No nonsense sort of an individual. Doesn't try and mystify what he and his team are trying to do. That look forward from Rigon to Withers, but it's play on. And Rigon has it back.
And it was touched in flight, so this will be back to the first tackle. A full set, a full complement of tackles in this sequence for Bradford, and again they push the pass.
And here's Anderson. Did it strike you as forward, Joe?
I think that pass was the last pass to the wingman. Seemed to be a shade forward. They got away with it, and they have a perfect chance here. Field position and numbers.
Rigon held by Sobotabur. Here's Withers burrowing towards the line.
Let him up. Stand up.
5 metres out, Bradford. Slightly fortuitous that they have this position. Here's James Lowes. First blood to the Bulls. And Wakefield may feel that they have cause for complaint. Had the forward pass been given, Bradford would not have had the chance.
Yeah, in the field position on, you have to take your chances. We're normally used to seeing James Lowes dangerous from anywhere inside the 10-metre area, able to score tries. Not often we see the footwork that's used here though. Hit and spin, turns, look for support, but realise there was nobody else to beat, and crosses for Bradford's first try. Maybe you might suggest one of many this afternoon.
James Lowes, very keen football fan himself. He though supports Leeds United. His 112th career try. And the prolific Henry Paul, surprisingly off target.
Maybe a little bit complacent. He seemed to strike it with a lazy attitude. Certainly didn't get the result he wanted.
Now let's have a look again and see whether this was a forward pass. It was Rigon to Withers.
Well, the touch judge and the referee bang in line to make the call, but from the angle that we saw it at, not that replay, it did look a shade forward.
Stay behind.
Play was allowed to continue, and James Lowes scored the try. Bradford don't need any help. They're good enough on their own to win this tie handsomely.
Hey,
Wakefield are trying to ensure that that doesn't happen, and this is Brian McDermott for Bradford. And now Jamie Peacock, the second rower.
And two. Stand up, stand up.
Henry Paul.
Again, forward pass, but this time spotted. The referee just consulting, looking at the touch judge, making sure he got it right.
Scrum. Wakefield ball. Come back ball, please. Good mark.
Henry Paul going across field, having several runners, but that ball was forward.
The Wakefield bench looking closely at Tom Hoy, their loose forward. He's taken a bit of a bang in the mouth, loosened some teeth apparently. It's a tough old game this, and Paul Anderson as well, bit of bleeding from the mouth, but they're both still on the pitch.
Tommy Hockey, signed from the Keighley Albion club by Steve Ferris, who's the director of rugby here at Wakefield.
Wait with me, Henry.
Vastly experienced former player and coach. Now, can Wakefield hit back immediately? Pearson to Price. It's important in the context of the game overall that they do.
Wait.
Jackson. Paul March. Oh, and the ball's gone loose.
Turnover.
Leave it.
Bradford seizing the chance, spill ball, and they were quick down to collect it. And that was a shame because Wakefield had the numbers on the right-hand side, but just forcing the pass, not able to control it. Bradford will now just work it away in the set of six. Again, I think they'll look for the kick, try and put some pressure on Wakefield deep inside their own half.
This is Deacon. Peacock.
Get out, Jules.
Bradford have beaten Widnes 54-10. They scored 11 tries at Halifax in our televised game in the last round, and have beaten St Helens 31-24 in the season's opener in Super League. Wakefield, by contrast, have won at Workington and at Oldham, two Northern Ford Premiership sides, and lost to Castleford in their opening league game.
Right, tackle one. Stand up, fellas. No penalties. Wait for his
That is Brian Brooks to attend turnstile number 21, please. Thank you.
Get up, Paul.
Pearson. Now Richard Smith, Irish international.
Let's go, Scotty!
Tackles already, Wakefield in the top three, and they've had to do the most work in defence. Paul Jackson leading that trio. Well, again, a sloppy mistake by Wakefield, working themselves for the kick to try and get inside Bradford's half, and they just lose possession, quite careless. A lack of concentration here, really. Played the ball, nobody in the acting hard back position. Bradford able to collect.
Deacon, and now Brian McDermott.
It's obviously a directive from the coaching staff at Bradford just to look all the time in contact to try and force the pass.
Here's Joe Vangenaar.
So often just before the halted, you'll see the big forwards turn in the tackle and look to offload.
Deacon, scampering presence. Not allowed to scamper very far this time, it's the last tackle. James Lowe stabbing through, but straight to a Wakefield player.
Well, maybe a right option, but not one of James Lowe's better kicks. Obviously pretty confident after the try.
Now can Wakefield escape from inside their own 20-metre area?
Well, they have to go through this set of 6 without making a mistake. It's Bradford that made the mistake, giving away a penalty offside.
You're not listening.
And referee Stuart Cummings saying
That's the problem.
that you're not listening.
Joe Vangenaar on because Paul Anderson has been sent to the blood bin. Pearson's kick. High towards the main stand. Hits the corrugated iron roof. Below which there are some distinguished guests. On the left there, Neil Fox, the all-time great, the record point scorer in World Rugby League. And on the right, one of Wakefield's keenest supporters, the local Labour MP, David Hinchliffe.
Right, that's 2. Now I'm here and wait for his foot. Wait.
Pearson. It's the best part of 50 years since David Hinchliffe saw his first game on this ground.
Here we go, wait for his foot.
He's seen some great cup exploits down the years, notably in the early 60s, while Wakefield reached 3 finals in the space of 4 years. Paul March bounced off hockey and went forward.
And there's another mistake. You see, Wakefield is causing so many problems for themselves. They had 2 sets of 6 tackles there with the penalty, and they still only just managed to get inside Bradford's half and then spill the ball.
Okay, let's go, fellas. Trainers off, please. Trainers off. In you go, Jamie.
Bradford just a slight
Tom,
advantage of the pack weights.
Vangenaar.
News of Paul Anderson, the Bradford prop, who's come off, is in the blood bin. He's got a bad cut in his mouth. The dentist, the team dentist, has arrived with the stitching kit. I think he's in for a bit of pain.
No time for any anaesthetic.
Here we go.
St Helens and Leeds already through to the semi-final draw for this year's Silk Challenge Cup, which will take place just after 6 o'clock here on Sunday Grandstand. Deacon finding Henry Paul, and now Peacock, and back to Henry Paul, and that's a classic score by Bradford. Henry Paul against his first club.
We expect every time the Bradford Bulls take the field that this player Henry Paul to be instrumental in most things they do. A creative player, and the little pass here, the short pass, the delayed pass, as James Lowes picks up from acting halfback, foreshore, the run around, practice move. The ball behind a couple of players, finds Deacon and Henry Paul in space, but just holds a pass until the last split second. Puts Peacock through the gap, and then, as always, in support to score the try. From the overhead shot, you'll see James Lowe's now just looping round, the ball behind the support player. Multiple options for the defence to try and read. In the end, they didn't read it correct because Henry Paul was allowed to put a little pass in, the delayed pass, and then support back on the inside from Peacock for the try.
Henry Paul himself will try and add the extra 2 points. He's back on track after that early miss, and Wakefield find themselves facing a 10-point deficit thanks to a player who started his career at this club at the age of 19 7 years ago when David Topliss was the coach, and has since gone on to bigger and greater things with Wigan and now Bradford.
Love the little pass from Henry Paul. The crowd, the Wakefield fans, suggesting there may have been a forward pass in there, but that pass from Henry was perfectly timed.
Stuart Spruce will take this. Lowe's. Vangenaar.
Hey, tackle 1, stand up, get out.
Brian McDermott. The Wakefield coach, John Harbin, was telling me yesterday he thinks many clubs suffer from Bradforditis when they're drawn against them in a knockout competition. You find that one or two players go down with injuries just prior to the match, but he said that's not the case here. Those that were injured were desperate to be fit to play against the reigning cup holders. But at the moment they're struggling to stay anywhere near on terms with them.
Jamie, stand up. Spence, hands up. Here, wait.
Henry Paul to his half-back partner Deacon. The kick forcing Sobotabua back.
If they are to compete, Wakefield, then they have to stop this pattern of play that's unfolding, where they make mistakes, Bradford collect, put the kicks in, put pressure on. Another mistake will lead to, as it has done, tries.
Martin Holland. Another distinguished guest today, Sir Rodney Walker, the chairman of the Rugby Football League, the man charged with sorting out the Wembley mess, and also a past chairman of Wakefield Trinity. He was 7 years in the chair here in the late 80s and early 90s. Justin Brooker, the former Bradford man. Richard Smith.
Last, Scott, come on.
Pearson.
40-20.
Shout of 40-20 comes from referee Stuart Cummings, but it doesn't find touch. This is Spruce running hard.
Nice tackle one. Martin, come on.
It's a little bit too much distance really on the kick. Maybe better advise Pearson to put it into space.
Deacon. Daniel Gartner, another of the new Australian recruits at Bradford this season. Shane Rigon. I just wonder, Joe, Brian Noble has said that he wants to ally greater finesse to the existing power of the Bradford Bulls. Do you see a change in style under Brian Noble?
I think that's been the case. It was evident certainly against Halifax that their willingness to offload the rugby ball, look for support. There's a penalties given here just for holding down too long. And I think Bradford is, under Brian Noble, have made a conscious effort to promote the rugby ball and push it wide, try and create problems, because they were being, well, stereotyped as a power side that were matched on occasions and could be out-muscled. But with this extra facet to the game now, they are causing defences more and more problems.
Has 163 points and 28 tries in 3 and a bit games so far this season, would suggest.
Come on, Gary.
Penalty count low at this stage, as you'd expect. Forshaw with the driving run for Bradford. Loads. Henry Paul stepping and then feeding it towards Ryan McDermott.
Stand up, Ryan.
And Withers at the corner. Is he in? Stuart Cummings thinks he is. And Michael Withers, who scored a hat-trick on this ground last season, extends this remarkable scoring run in the Challenge Cup. His 18th try in 12 Challenge Cup appearances. No wonder the band are playing, because Bradford are flowing nicely and lead by a comfortable margin now.
Quite simply, the Wakefield defence just almost froze on its own try line. You have to move forward. They didn't, and Withers able to score.
From right on the touchline, it's Henry Paul. He's got a chance, every chance.
Much better kick from Henry Paul. These are the players to watch. Just froze on the line. If we run the replay now, you'll see they hardly move. They go sideways, but not forward. And the result, Sobotabua left stranded and having to stop power without moving forward himself.
Here's Peacock.
Right, tackle one, leave him now.
Tempted to say strutting his stuff,
Careful,
but
Ryan,
Bradford
don't
collectively are doing that. This is Vicona.
That's 2, tackle 2. Stand away.
Lowe's. Peacock. Vicona coming in field to seek more of the action.
Tackle 3. Here we go. Get with me, Gary, please. Tackle 4.
Down here on the bench, I've got Paul Medley from the Bradford coaching staff. Must be delighted with the start you've made, Paul.
Yeah, good start. You know, cup games, tough games, and obviously, you know, we're going the right way. We're keeping the defence going, and you know, we're pushing forward.
You tested Sova Tabu with a couple of high kicks early doors. Was he a point of weakness that you identified?
Well, it's anything, you know, any kick goes in the air,
Right,
it's always
tackle 1.
pressure time, and we're just, you know, trying 1 or 2 things out, but at the moment we're happy with everything's going defensively, we're coming up with the results, and you know, we're just going to keep going for 80 minutes.
What's the news on Paul Anderson? He came off in the blood bin.
Yeah, he's just a blood base, Clark Cup, Paul Barrett, to go back on the field any time now.
Thanks, Paul.
Here's Richard Smith. He, like Brooker, used to play for Bradford, although he didn't actually appear in the first team.
Well, you need more of that. Wakefield, Sabato coming in off the wing, looking for the ball, looking for the chance to break the line. A nice little pass as well, the hint of a forward.
Right.
Forward pass, but Wakefield, because they caused problems, because they broke the line, and Bradford guilty of holding down and a penalty to Wakefield.
Shane Riggin, who was pulled up by the referee.
Shane, you've got to have movement, don't.
Here's Sabato, gets his arms free and pushes the pass from that angle, nothing wrong with it, and the referee Stuart Cummings in the right place to make a ruling on it.
That's tackle 2. Come on, fellas, have a look.
Wakefield needs something, and rapidly. Paul March, Martin Pearson, Holland alongside him. Holland cutting through half a gap that was very quickly closed.
A little bit of confidence coming into Wakefield's game now. They've seen they can break Bradford once, no points yet.
Paul Jackson.
That's tackle 4, stand now, Paul, hands out.
Great field position, centre field, options both sides. They'll come to Pearson.
Martin Pearson. Oh, what a shame. I know we have to take a neutral view on this, but the game as a contest needs Wakefield to do something and get back into it.
Well, they had the numbers. The decision was to push it wide, but to nobody. Smith had come in. Field.
So I'll stay in the scrum, fellas. The ball's out, please. Hold the 5, Martin. It's out the back.
Bradford in good shape. 3 tries. One of them to Henry
Now,
Paul,
Martin,
who's also
move.
kicked a couple of goals. And Wakefield yet to really threaten. Naylor.
Right, tackle 2. Gary, get up. Come on, move. Wait.
Vicona. Seems to fancy it today, Vicona. Found Lowe's. Henry Paul. Long pass to Shane Rigon. Wakefield trying to force him into touch, and they've succeeded.
Well, as soon as the Wakefield players managed to keep him on his feet, there you go. Then there was always a chance to push him towards that sideline, so close to it to start off with. The momentum kept going. Good work in defence, really, and it needed to be.
Come on, fellas, get your head in, Frank. Hang on, let's bind in. Let him in, Stuart.
Wakefield have made a change.
Okay, let's go.
You won't see him at the moment because he's packed down in the front row, but the Tongan, Frank Watanabe,
Let's have it again.
has come on.
Let's try and bind in, fellas. The ball's out, please.
In place of Julian O'Neill. Pearson trying to straighten but running straight into Spruce's tackle.
Here.
Paul March. Now Gary Price.
That's 2. Right, stand
We
up.
mentioned right at the beginning about Brad Davis not being in the starting lineup through injury today, and they do miss him. They miss his organisational skills more than anything. The ability to go at the line and create problems, look for support. Very elusive player too, a lot of speed and experience. That's good defence from Bradford. Deacon moving up quickly.
Here's Tatupu. I haven't seen too much of him. Not in attacking mode anyway.
Marcus, square.
The kick.
Play on.
Testing out Vicona. Majestically taken.
That was well done, a lesson for any young winger. Just stayed back, waited for the time, didn't get there too early, which meant his momentum could take him into the ball and almost through the defensive line.
Peacock. Can't get past his former teammate, Justin Brooker.
You get off the ball then.
Henry Paul.
Nice little bit of footwork from Henry Paul, the spin and the fend. The handoff just pushing away the defence.
Deacon. Took an awkward ball well. Spruce.
Last, leave him, Ryan, leave him.
Last tackle. little bit of ingenuity will Bradford look to now. It's the kick from James Lowe's. Samatabur retreating and held within 5 metres of his own line.
They like to kick to that left-hand corner. It's a little bit slippy underfoot down there as well, a little bit soft, and Samatabur has to get back quickly. It's very hard for him to turn and try and make any ground away from his own try line.
Watane.
Tackle 3. Come on, here.
Samatabur has been fully tested.
And tackle 4. Make the 10.
Pearson. Smith. Had Brooker outside him, but chose not to pass.
Last. Wait for his foot.
Kick is by Martin
40,
Pearson.
20.
Withers there to field it for Bradford. Well, dangerous from any point on the field, but he's about to be engulfed.
Right, let's tackle 1. Stand up, Jamie. Wait here.
You'll notice now that within 3-4 tackles, Bradford will move out of their own half. They've dominated territory in this opening half.
Okay, tackle 2. Have a look and make it. Make the 10.
Top tackles. Well, Bradford doing the work as well. Mike Forshaw.
And 3. Make
16.
the line. Make the line.
Deacon. Regon. Almost got it away to Forshaw. Stuart Fielden. Lowe's. Forshaw into the gap. Half held. Now, was that forward? Yes. This time it will be pulled back, and Rigon's try, even though he chooses to punch the air, will not count.
Hey, come on, Henry. How about you keeping away and stop running in?
Well, not easy. Forshaw going to ground as he puts the pass in, but you can see it drift forward by a good metre. Nothing wrong with the ground in, but it was the pass that was forward. And again, the referee, we must say, was right on the spot, bang in line with the pass, able to judge easily. It should still give concern to Wakefield, though, how easy it was for Forshaw to break the line.
Jackson.
Right, here we go, make the 10.
Pearson. Watane.
That's tackle 2. Here we go, wait for his foot.
So many players lost by Wakefield in the past 6 months or so. So many big names lost because of their financial difficulties. So many younger players have taken those places. This is Pearson moving the ball left towards Martin Holland. Holland held by Naylor.
4.
Down here on the bench, I've got Willie Poaching, the Wakefield captain. Couldn't make it today, Willie, with your injury. Is it bad?
It's on the mend. It's been a few weeks now, so hopefully with a bit of luck I'll be all right for next week. But it's a bit unfortunate not to be playing today.
How do you get back into this game? Bradford seems to have taken a stranglehold on it.
Yeah, we just got to look to try and complete a few more sets. We've given a few poor few options away. You know what? We drop the ball and we're throwing the ball over the sideline. If we can rectify a few of those errors and we get a few more back-to-back sets, and then we're in with a better chance.
We know about Bradford going forward, but the defence has been great today as well.
Yeah, they've been pretty good. Their kicking game especially, they've held us down in the 20. We've just got to try and find some possession and a bit of field position that could turn things on its head here.
Bet you all wish you were out there.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest of spectators. I wish I was playing today, but my time will come. Hopefully we'll do the right things and we'll be playing again.
Thanks, Willie.
Stand up.
Wasn't overly enthusiastic about being out there, Joe.
Well, no, the scoreboard. I think he realises it's going to be a tough afternoon, but I don't think he would shirk the task if fit.
Get up,
as captain of the club.
Make the 10 and wait.
Biting his nails.
Rare Bradford pass going astray. Forshaw. Referee looking to his touch judge for assistance and ruling it went forward.
And it was. In their eagerness to push the passes, one or two of them have been suspect. This one being called, Scott Naylor having to turn round to pass to find Forshaw.
Steve Taylor, the touch judge.
Stay in, Mike.
Here's Pearson. Tony Tutupu, the Samoan. Wakefield their own worst enemies.
He dragged it into himself that way. That's where the knock on is. You pulled it in that way.
Well done to Tupu. The gap was there, the chance was there, the support play as well. I think it came off Stuart Spruce's leg initially, and then as it came back down, he dragged it back towards him, and the referee was quite right to say that's a knock on as he tried to regather.
Okay, let's go. To the back, Paul.
Henry Paul. Scott Naylor.
Right, tackle one, leave it!
Icona.
All right, we're okay.
Deacon. Gartner. Well away now to Stuart Spruce. Plenty of space for the wingman. Withers. Thought about kicking, went himself.
Two, leave it, Wes!
Deacon. Michael Withers.
Three, now make the 10, make the 10.
Lowe's. Forshaw.
Four march, wait
Bradford
with me.
pointing into just to bring the ball in about 20 metres in from touch, and then they've got the chance then of both options, either open field or down the short side. They use Henry Paul out wide, and they've got Fine Corner a one-on-one. Good defence by Smith.
Make it.
Henry Paul. Relentless, this from Bradford. Deacon's kick to that same area. The Wakefield right winger Sobertabur took that more comfortably.
Yeah, not enough height on that kick from Deacon. He didn't get enough hang time on the ball for his defence. Sorry, for his chasing plays to get there and put pressure on Sobertabur.
That's two, now stand up, Paul, come on.
These sides
and wait.
contesting a semi-final place, and then they'll just be one win away from the final at Twickenham this year on April the 28th in the Silk Cut Challenge Cup.
Here we go, wait.
Just watching Bradford on defence, they do make a conscious effort to point at the player that they are marking. Just keeps them mentally alert, lets their teammates also know that they are concentrating
Last.
on their task of defence.
Make the 10.
It's the last tackle, and it's the kick
Onside.
from Ryan Hudson.
Play on.
Spruce going back.
That's a better kick, turning Spruce into space, and a good chase too, good flat line which will bring Spruce down just
Tackle one.
on the 10-metre line.
Here we are.
Icona. Henry Paul.
That's tackle two. Leave it.
Regal player to watch, Henry Paul. So elegant in everything he does. Here's Scott Naylor.
Three. Stand up. Here. Oh, Jamie, all the way. Yeah,
Peacock.
we're all right. Tackle four. Hands down.
Paul Anderson slips into Forshaw.
This is the position they like to be in, Bradford, middle of the field. They get a penalty because again Wakefield is slowing things down. It's a quick tap.
And this is Deacon. And now it's Daniel Gartner. For once there wasn't anyone to offload to.
Come on.
The point I was going to make was that they have players, players and decision makers in so many positions, Bradford, that they really do cause problems. Time in the opponent's half, as you can see, 56% Bradford. I thought it'd actually be more than that. They have seemed to be camped down, particularly in this left-hand corner following kicks.
That's four.
Stuart Fielden held. Here's Deacon. And now via Henry Paul to Peacock and Naylor.
Last. Make the 10. Come on.
On the last tackle. Deacon the fulcrum. The kick through. Rebounds off Ryan Hudson to Paul Anderson.
You put your foot
And the referee Stuart Cummings saying he played at it. He put his foot at it, and therefore it's back to one.
Stand away.
And again, the position that Bradford find themselves in, they also get, give away a penalty. And James Lowes is furious with Paul Anderson.
Yeah, he's his foot out.
He realises, like the rest of the teammates, that they had a great opportunity there to score some more points.
That's mate, second 10. Whoa.
These two teams actually played a pre-season friendly, if friendly is the right word, 6 weeks ago on this ground.
Tackle one, stand away.
And whilst that's not always a guide,
back on it. We've had no
it's worth noting that Wakefield did push Bradford fairly close, 26-20 to the Bulls that day.
Tackle two, stand up, Paul.
And when they met in the Super League at the back end of last season on this ground, the Bulls only won by 30 points to 20.
Three.
But that in many respects was a different Wakefield side.
That's what we want, fellas.
Pearson. Brooker.
Tackle four, it's all right.
Seemed to be an arm in Brooker's face there from Jamie Peacock. Gary Price. 10 years since his international cap for Great Britain. Gary Price against Papua New Guinea. Pearson. Good distance on the kick. Bounced up helpfully for Withers.
Alright, tackle one! Come on, fellas. 3 minutes. Come on, 3 minutes work. That's two, that's alright.
The referee Stuart Cummings just telling the Wakefield players there's 3 minutes work to do. Probably all in defence.
It's been the way of it this first half so far. A reminder that St Helens and Leeds are already through to the draw for the last four. Warrington are playing Villeneuve in the other game this afternoon, and we'll have the semi-final draw for the Silk Cut Challenge Cup just after 6 o'clock on Sunday Grandstand today. Gartner. The semi-finals are 3 weeks away. Final April the 28th, Twickenham. Deacon, good take. Forshaw. Henry Paul. Last thing Wakefield need is to concede another try prior to half-time. Holland, the full-back, safely taken. He can't get away from Henry Paul.
Good chase from Henry Paul.
This is Richard Smith, former Halifax and Keighley player.
Tackle two!
When Bradford take the ball into contact, they seem to come out the other side, even if their progression is eventually stopped.
Three, here we go, Jamie, all the way. Stand up,
Wakefield, on the other hand,
move off that mark.
by contrast, are almost stopped as soon as they hit the line.
4, and again, fellas, come on. Daniel.
Apart from anything else, there is a great difference in size.
40-20!
Look at the comparisons in the front row. Some kick though, and Spruce fails to stop the ball crossing the line.
He tried his best to keep it in, but that was a good kick. Handled just right, enough of them on the ball as well. And despite Stuart Spruce's efforts, a well-weighted kick into the corner, so Wakefield have the last chance before the half-time interval with the feed from this resulting scrum.
The first 40-20 we've seen.
Bradford in no rush to get to the scrum.
Wakefield need to make something of this. They've spurned other opportunities. This is Holland. Didn't manage to even breach the Bradford line when they met in the 5th round on this ground last year. Lost 46-0. Gary Price.
Right, it's down for 2, move out, hands
Still
out.
trying to get the Wildcats off the mark. Brooker. Paul March, straightening up. Can't get past the last line, who's Stuart Spruce. Wakefield up against this Bradford defence and against the clock. There's Paul Jackson. Oh, Jackson, though, the victim of a wonderful tackle by Gartner. Wakefield need to move it quickly. Ryan Hudson, and the dive in the corner. The referee's going to go to the screen.
Hasn't affected anything. It hasn't affected anything.
Well, Tupu got there, but did he get the ball down? Did he get the ground? And that's what the referee's asking for.
Right, it'll be right, we want it. I wouldn't. I didn't do that hard.
Nice little weighted kick in through the referee's legs as well, which caused a problem for Bradford. I think there was a slip too by Withers, the wingman.
Inadvertent touch off the leg of Stuart Cummings.
No, that's no try. Tupu got there in time but didn't get the ball down. And Withers just manages to force it away to prevent the try.
Withers managed to get his left arm in there and to bat it away with his fingertips. Video referee being called upon for the first time today is Ian Ollerton from Wigan. And his adjudication is awaited by this big crowd at Bellevue. Tupu, who crossed twice against Bradford in the Super League game here last July. Former Warrington and Auckland player. The Samoan international. Koripi Tony to Tupu. Tony to his friends. Not popular with the Wakefield fans, but undoubtedly the correct decision. And the hooter goes at the end of a one-sided first half, which sees Wakefield comfortably in front. It's tough for Wakefield, even on their home pitch and even with a partisan crowd inside Bellevue. They're struggling, 16 points to 0 down. And just to update you on the other quarter-final being played today, a 3 o'clock kick-off at Wilderspool. Warrington of the Super League are leading Villeneuve, the French representatives, by 20 points to 0 with 20 minutes still to go. St Helens and Leeds already through, and on the evidence so far it looks like Bradford and Warrington will join them in the semi-final draw just after 6 o'clock here on Sunday Grandstand. The players in the Bradford dressing room being spoken to by Brian Noble, who's just moved out of shot on the left-hand side there, and a rather more subdued Wakefield Trinity Wildcats dressing room faced by this deficit. And now, just before the start of the second half, we can fit in a popular constant in our coverage of rugby league, the award of the Eddie Waring Memorial Trophy for the televised try of the season, named after my legendary predecessor at the BBC microphone. The best televised try of the year 2000 was deemed to be Nathan McAvoy's for the Bradford Bulls in the Challenge Cup final at Murrayfield.
Again the blind side, good switch there to McAvoy. Now then, he's got one man to beat. Oh, he scored the easiest of tries, contemptuously swept past Harris there. Nathan McAvoy, the England three-quarter, he scored. Oh, and it really is a rout out wide there, Jonathan.
Yeah, this is all created by, I think, James Lowe's, a marking half-back. He spots Menshaw and he creates the overlap by going on the short side.
Nathan McAvoy sadly out of action at the moment with a knee ligament problem, but here today to receive the trophy from Eddie Waring's son, Tony.
Great try.
Some very illustrious names on the base of that trophy, and this year that of Nathan McAvoy will be inscribed upon it. The Wakefield players bonding in a huddle prior to the start of this second half. It'll need more than just bonding, though, to turn this tie around. Stuart Cummings, the referee, on the left there, just waiting for the arrival of the two teams. Do you ever win the Eddie Waring Memorial Trophy?
Just the once.
Just the once?
Just the once. A long time ago.
Which year?
1827.
Here come Wakefield. And their supporters are doing their best to raise flagging spirits. It's a game that they've been looking forward to ever since the draw was made a fortnight ago. And for Bradford, just another set of opponents to knock over on the way to what they hope will be another final appearance.
The shots at half-time in the dressing rooms showed a very relaxed Bradford Bulls. I don't think you would find that in a game where they weren't leading so convincingly at half-time.
And still no sign of Robbie Paul on the field. Some luxury to have him in reserve.
Well, it's very unusual to see your captain sitting on the bench, still named as captain. But I think the decision was not complacency to play Paul Deacon, but rather to give him some playing time and make sure that he is fully keyed up and ready to play if needed.
There's brother Henry. Something of a false start.
Right.
It's Martin Pearson to kick off for Wakefield.
Right, no penalties, fellas.
Take was by Spruce.
Here we go.
Well, the height was there on the kick, but not a really good chase. There was no pressure put on it.
Tackle two. And wait, fellas. Yeah, wait for his foot.
Bradford with 3 wins coming into this game,
From
3 outings and 3 comprehensive wins as well. Although the margin against St Helens was a relatively narrow one, 31-24 in the Super League last Sunday at Valley Parade, and there is of course more than a possibility that Bradford and St Helens could be paired in the draw for the semi-finals. That was a knock on. But the ball was pulled out and it's a penalty.
The referee Stuart Cummings having no hesitation. Stuart Spruce takes it in there. There are 2 players clearly in the tackle as Martin Pearson takes the ball out. Well, the crowd are booing. But as I said, the referee had no hesitation at all. Martin Pearson there, involvement in the first half, passes and attacking runs, quite heavily involved.
Tackle one, leave him.
On the other side of the game, you've got Henry Paul, who also is quite heavily involved.
Jamie, stand up.
We'll look at his stats in just a second, but let's watch this Bradford attack unfold with Henry Paul. And now JB Peacock. No changes to either side at half-time. Anderson tried to burrow his way over, held up right on the line.
Right, he's held up, it's upright tackle. It's in the in-goal area, it's going to be a scrum Bradford ball.
Good strength and good working defence by Wakefield. It had to be, because Anderson is not a small player. Quite powerful, tries to use all of that body weight and power to get across the line. He manages to cross it but can't get down to score the try.
Not a small player, Joe.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
Simple.
Henry Paul, Stuart Fielden, back to Henry Paul. Now it's Shane Riggle, straightening up.
Tackle one, stand up, stand up.
Henry Paul at acting half. Stuart Fielden, battering ram of a prop forward. Hails from Halifax originally. Lowe's to Anderson, who in Joe's words is not small.
That's tackle three. Fellas, stand out, Gary.
Anyone else's is very large.
Martin, get on the line.
And very difficult to stop.
Riggle.
Well, again, a sloppy pass from Bradford, and I'm sure Brian Noble won't be happy with that. They do seem a little bit complacent, making more handling mistakes and errors than you would normally expect.
Henry Paul, lovely step, pass to Withers, Withers over the line! He's in again, his second, Bradford's fourth, and no one in the Challenge Cup seems capable of stopping Michael Withers.
It's always a sign of a player who wants to be involved, the wingman who comes in, normally on the top of his game, sniffing out the try, making sure that he's there in the right place at the right time. He knows that Henry Paul's going to cause problems. He knows that if he follows him and tracks him, eventually a pass will come that will deliver the goods, and he does exceptionally well to get the ball down and score the try. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't going to be a certainty as soon as he received the ball, but Henry Paul stepping off the right foot straight through the defence, and as he attracts numerous defenders, puts the pass into Withers to score the try, but he had a lot to do once he received it.
Paul's conversion is successful. And Bradford Bulls look like being successful in this quarter-final, leading as they do now by 22 points to 0.
Here's Henry Paul, the step, just straight through what was a large gap. And then the support was there in numbers. Deakin was one of them, but Withers collected the ball and collected the try. The 4 points, another 4 points to Bradford, and 22-0 the lead.
Here's Vicona. We did promise you some stats on Henry Paul's performance so far.
Well, passes given 27 and tactical kicks 3. He's just sharing, I think, those stats, leading Pearson in involvement. But what those stats don't tell you is the support that he has had in that role of organising and distribution. Attacking runs 15, and again Bradford causing problems by offloading.
And here is Henry Paul to Stuart Spruce, to James Lowe's. Lowe's is caught, but Bradford are on the rampage. Deacon to Henry Paul, and now JB Peacock. Gaps appearing, Scott Naylor. Oh, that was just too extravagant.
Henry Paul on this occasion forcing the pass, the flick pass out of the side of Vicona, not in the area where Henry Paul hoped, certainly not in the area in which the ball arrived.
Difficult how Vicona was supposed to know to read that pass.
Down here at pitch side, I've got John Harbin, the Wakefield coach, at 22-0 down. Is there any way back?
No, mate, there's always a way back, but not the way we're playing at the moment, I'm afraid.
What's wrong with your game at the moment?
Oh, mate, I think Bradford are just playing exceptionally well, and we're struggling with the pace of it.
What did you say to the players at half-time? We saw you bonding and gripping onto each other.
Mate, I wasn't bonding and gripping onto each other. No, mate, we just got to keep going, have a bit of pride in ourselves, quicker play the balls. Mate, I've got a bloke injured at the moment too.
Thanks, John.
Sovatabua. John Harbin, an engaging character.
Tackle 4. Come on, Henry.
And I asked him a few days ago just how much of a Yorkshireman he considers himself to be. He did explain that when he lived in Australia from the age of 15 he arranged to have the Yorkshire Evening Post sent over to him on a weekly basis. And his dedication to the White Rose cause. Withers. The way this is unfolding, Joe, are we looking at a repetition of last year's scoreline between these sides, 46-0?
I think so, because Wakefield are tiring as well. Of course, John Harbin mentioned that his players were struggling to stick with the pace of it, and although Bradford are making quite a few handling mistakes themselves, they are causing problems, finding gaps, and support and forward runs such as that one we've just seen from Anderson will mean that I think there are more tries in the offering from Bradford.
We are occupying an executive porter cabin for our commentary position, and Ryan Noble is next door in the neighbouring compartment, watching the game from high above the halfway line and presumably enjoying the majority of what he's seeing. Peacock. Naylor. Kick through was intended for Vicona. Wakefield back in possession with Brooker. You must have had a few of these games in your phenomenal cup runs with Wigan, Joe. I mean, what goes through the minds of the side that is dominating the game? Is there any thought of easing off? We've done our job, or what?
Not at all, I don't think so. You want it to be as clinical as you possibly can, as professional as you possibly can, because as again John Harbin mentioned, there is always a way back, and fortunes and luck can change.
Hudson's kick. Bradford so far this season showing the sort of form that carried them to the Challenge Cup final at Murrayfield last April. They played in 3 of the last 5 finals, and look at that for a statistic.
Well, that is a telling statistic. We mentioned all the way through the first half that Bradford are consciously making an effort to offload the tackle.
Staying Ryan at the back.
19%.
It's out.
To 4.
As soon as your binding comes out, Mike, that ball's out.
Henry Paul. Scott Naylor. Trying to break himself. It was a good take by Henry Paul because the pass was round about the bootlaces.
That's one, leave him.
Graham Law on in place of Jamie Field for Wakefield. Here's Deacon and now Anderson.
So, right, I'm here. Come on, have a look.
Just confirmation of that change.
3, hands out, hands out. Here.
Graham Law, whose brother Martin also played for the Wakefield club 3 or 4 seasons ago. Here's Martin Holland, the longest serving current player in one spell.
Shane, stand up, Shane! Wait for his foot, no penalty.
Sovatabua.
Alright, tackle 2, markers.
Price.
3. Here we go.
Half break by Ryan Hudson.
Leave
Pearson.
Well, they're all half breaks, aren't they? Well, just a few half breaks for Wakefield. They're not making any significant penetration that will lead to points. Here's Pearson though with a half a chance. Has to kick as defence closes in.
Well, I was going to say it's the kick and chase. It was the kick, but we haven't really had much of a chase. And Vicona was able to pick it up and see plenty of clear ground ahead of him.
Wait for his foot, Ben.
Good weaving run now. Spruce, the fullback, could go all the way. Richard Smith is trying to get back at him. Lee Gilmore arrives, but the high step out of the tackle, and Spruce has gone 3/4 of the length of the pitch to score a spectacular try.
Not blessed with the greatest amount of speed, the 13-year-old former Widnes player Stuart Spruce, but he didn't really need it here because the tackling just wasn't good enough from Wakefield. 3, possibly 4 attempted tackles within this run, none of them successful, nobody could stop him, and he didn't need in the end the support play. Was able to cross himself for the try, a great try, but you have to go back to the tackling or the lack of it from Wakefield. Fully 90 metres upfield, 4 attempted tackles, none successful, and the result another try for Bradford and 1 for Stuart Spruce this time.
He's now scored in every round of the competition this season, Stuart Spruce. Great Britain international in his 6th season with the Bradford Bulls. 3 times a finalist, once a winner. And Henry Paul, twice a winner, with the 2 extra points. Henry Paul with 12 of those 28 points now.
From the high shot, we'll just see that it was not really on the short side. They had the numbers there, Wakefield, but they just missed the tackles. Stuart Spruce decided to back himself on the outside.
Here he goes, 10, Martin, stay behind.
And 3 players so far, and the 4th in Smith, tried to prevent the try from being scored, tried to stop the player and failed.
This is Henry Paul. How many times have we mentioned his name today?
No, he wasn't.
Lowe's. Deacon. Forshaw. Ball was pulled out. It's a penalty.
Tatupu, one of the players involved from Wakefield. I think the other being Hudson. Forshaw grimacing, and you'll see the hand. It was Hudson forcing the ball out.
The booing from the Wakefield supporters who feel that they were hard done by. Lee Gilmore, the former Wigan man, on the field for Bradford. Joined in the close season, having represented Scotland in the World Cup. This is Vangenaar. Lowe's. Withers.
Right, tackle 1, leave him now, leave him.
Rigon.
That's 2, stand up, hands out.
Michael
Gary,
Withers is just limping a little,
Gary,
having come away from that last tackle. That's another penalty.
Wait.
Lowe's has taken it too quickly. He'll have to come back.
One word. No, it's not scrum down, it was on the mark. I wanted, no, you've got your hand in there, and you know it has. Keep it clear. He's got his hand in the play of the ball.
Got too many players behind him.
No, that was only one. There's not a problem. That was a problem then, okay? Right, here we go. Hand in. Yeah, it's fine.
Gary Price asking for an explanation from the referee Stuart Cummings, which he's got. Bradford have got the penalty, and here's Vangenaar.
I would suggest that one of the reasons for Gary Price's questioning was to just slow things down a little, let his defence get set.
Strange play the ball, but they're allowed to continue with James Lowe's.
Right, 2, now stand clear. Stand up, Frank. Stand clear. Stand clear.
Referee Cummings dictating the distances at the play the ball. Forshaw to Deacon. Deacon spreads it wide to Henry Paul. Scissors move with Lee Gilmore. Gilmore runs into trouble.
Right, 3, stand up, Ben, stand up, hand out.
Wakefield looking very tired, dropping off some of the tackles now. There's Vangenaar. That was a tackle that did matter, and Graham Law made it. He'll have to make another now. Spruce to Gartner, and Gartner rolls and stretches, and he's held right on the line. And in fact, the ball was knocked on.
No, he's clear. Your player.
Help from the touch judge for Stuart Cummings, the referee. He was about to rule that it was the last tackle in the set of 6. Gartner just losing control.
Play the ball. All right. If anything, it will be a penalty to them.
An escape for Wakefield. There haven't been many, and it may only be a temporary one. Stuart Spruce looking a little the worse for wear. And what do you least want to see when you're 28-0 down in the quarter-final of the Cup at home against one of the favourites? Robbie Paul ready to come on.
Wakefield have had a lot of trouble trying to contain his brother, and now the problem is doubled.
It's appalling, isn't it?
It'll be interesting to see where he comes on, where he plays.
Right, Mike, stand up. Now, come on, work hard, work hard. No penalties.
Pearson. Smith.
Right, it's tackle 2, and again. Wait for his foot, wait for his foot.
Martin Pearson. Oh, Watene. Missed the ball, but made contact with Stuart Fielden. One or two fisticuffs involving Vanganar and Pearson. Pearson must be mad to take on someone twice his size. Henry Paul. He might get some stick from Pearson in the tackle now. There is some feeling out there.
Frustration more than anything because Wakefield losing possession in their own 20. You just can't give Bradford, a team of this quality, so many chances and opportunities to score.
Forward pass, spotted by the referee.
That must be the 6th, 7th of Bradford's. Certainly the ones that have been spotted by the referee.
And the most obvious of them, arguably, was in the build-up to Bradford's first try. But that wasn't spotted.
Gary, hey, have a breather, fellas. Okay, he's having with this player. 1, he's chipping at me all the way through. Right, I'm not going to have any more. Come back, please. Come back, please.
It's Martin Pearson.
2, he's trying to have a go in the tackle. Now I need to cut that out straight up. Martin, come back, please.
Martin, come back.
Right, he's having a go in the tackle. Right, some foul players creeping in. We need to stop it now, okay? 2-1.
That's very wise words from the referee. Just stopping the situation evolving. He's been involved in a couple of incidents without a penalty being given, Martin Pearson. The referee's obviously spotted it, making sure that he stops it further by having a word to the captain and to Martin Pearson himself.
Down here on the bench I've got Paul Anderson, the Bradford prop. Paul, is that your afternoon over or just a breather?
Hope not, no, just have a little breather and maybe get another 10 minutes at the end there.
28-0, are you happy with the afternoon's work so far?
Yeah, very good score. It's pretty tough out there actually. Wakefield have come and give us a pretty good game.
They tell me you had to have a stitch in your lip at half time.
I had 5 stitches, not just the one.
Did you have any anaesthetic?
No.
Far too tough. Thanks very much, Paul.
Oh, Stuart.
Just the 5 stitches then.
Look, there was no problem at all with the tackle until you turn him onto his shoulder. Right, now that's a dangerous tackle. You've got to keep putting flat on the floor, there wouldn't have been a problem.
That's the reason for the penalty.
And the decision danger in this one. Tackle was fine, just tip upside down though, and the referee saying that was dangerous. Didn't seem that much in it.
It's Martin Pearson who's been annoying Bradford, who has felt the brunt of it. Also been annoying the referee, as we've seen. Richard Smith.
Alright, tackle 1. Now let's get back on it, fellas. Come
Pearson
on.
seems to be okay.
Get back on it.
Frank Watene.
That's 2.
Make Tonga in the 1995 World Cup. Holland.
3. Stand out, Paul. Stand out. Marcus square.
The ambition of the Wakefield supporters has been curtailed somewhat by Bradford's performance, but what they'd love is to make sure that their side are not nilled. Quarter of the game to play. Here's Graham Law. Tatupu. Another Wakefield handling error.
Well, at least it's in the right half of the field as far as Wakefield are concerned, but it's still not the best result. The ball a little bit behind, but could have been collected.
Right, fellas, we've had a mad 5 minutes. Let's get back on what we were on before, eh?
Well, the answer as to who is going off to allow Robbie Paul to come on is clear. His brother's gone off.
Well, the problem's not doubled in the fact that there's now not 2 Paul brothers on the field, but I shall still think that Wakefield would have to watch this one and try and stop him a little more than they did his brother.
Vicona.
Okay, let's go, Richie. Here we go. Wait for his foot. Wait for it.
Jamie Peacock.
Tackle 3. Tackle 3.
Rare beacon of success amidst the general English performance at the World Cup. Jamie Peacock, 6 tries in the tournament.
Tackle 4. Hands out, Ben. Come on, Martin.
Forshaw announced his international retirement after that tournament. Vicona. desperately difficult to stop. Wonderful take by Spruce.
What a great pass as well from Vicona. Knew the support was there from Spruce and flicked it out. They have numbers on the left.
Deacon to Gartner. Gartner back to James Lowes. His second try. And this army of Bradford Bulls supporters celebrate try number 6.
Just numbers, but again, weak defence from Wakefield, right on their own line, not moving forward and not making the tackle. You have to hold them. This is a great pass from Vicona, superbly taken by Spruce, wasn't easy. Field position, bang in the middle of the field, they decide to go left. Robbie Paul picks up, quick pass and long pass out. Deacon the link man, and then the step and the inside pass for the try. James Lowes for his second. It's just a quick play of the ball. They're on the rack, Wakefield. They've had to scramble back in defence. It was a great pass from Vicona to find Spruce. And then as Gartner came in, just popped the little pass, and in support, James Lowes.
Paul Deacon has taken over the kicking duties now that Henry Paul is taking a rest. Great depth of talent on the Bradford staff.
Just under pressure, Wakefield. The defence is being split, not at will, but it's certainly too often for their coach John Harbin liking. Deacon, just a fast pass, and then the step, the slide defence from Wakefield doesn't do its job properly, and the try, another try for Bradford. 34-0.
Stay behind.
Pearson restarting for Wakefield. Still more than a quarter of an hour to play.
Okay, tackle one. Hands out.
And a double substitution made by Wakefield. Offloads in the tackle, even more one-sided now.
Keep coming fast, come on, Frank.
John Harbin, the Wakefield coach, looking on and hoping that the damage is not too great now to his side. One of the substitutions made by Wakefield a little confusing in that the player concerned doesn't have a number on the back of his shirt. Robbie Paul's kicked through. Holland goes back and he's going to be pinned right on his own line.
Well weighted kick, great chase. Victor Vicona putting the pressure on and forcing the Wakefield player over the line. It will be a dropout underneath the post as a result of this. Great chase down. So much pressure. And nothing Holland could do really, faced with Vicona as soon as he turned round.
Stay behind, fellas. Hi, Martin.
Tommy Hockey is the player with no number
Ryan
on the back of his shirt.
Another set of 6, the result here from the dropout, and again straight back at Wakefield.
Tackle one, come on.
Bradford just surge forward. They're making yards every time they carry the ball. And offloads.
Robbie Paul to Lee Gilmore. Gilmore anywhere, and it's picked up by a Bradford player.
Knock on there.
But there was a knock on.
Scrum.
Just a tiny one with the all count. But they're just not bothered, are they, Bradford, about keeping hold of the ball. If the chance is there to put the pass in, you'll see every player going into the tackle, particularly in the forwards, looking to see if there is a chance, or even a half chance in some cases, to push the pass.
Stay in, Mike, stay in.
It just makes it so tough for Wakefield to defend, because once they think that the tackle has been made, a support runner gets the ball and charges forward again.
Mike.
Wakefield struggling to get out of their own 10-metre area.
Tackle two,
and they're bunched, they're grouped together. Makes it easy for Bradford to defend against. They can condense their own defence just to cover the numbers.
4,
Marcus
square, Marcus.
5-all. I thought Wakefield's would have been higher than that, but they seem to have lost in the crucial parts of the field. A chance here.
Here's Watanabe. Never had the pace to go all the way himself, but he did have the strength to offload to Tupu. And now Ben Router, Martin Holland.
Get up, Joe, come on.
Pearson. Too much strength on that kick.
Right, we're on here. Make sure you're all on side first. It's on my whistle, Jim. When you're ready.
Now quite bright sunshine, spreading its way across Bellevue.
Yeah, that's a ball.
Michael Withers is going off for Bradford on the far side. He's been limping for a few minutes, and Scott Naylor is on in his place. Job done for Withers.
Right, tackle one. Frank, stand up. Take it to me. Well done, fellas.
Bradford's coach looking at an extension of his 100% coaching record. Played 4-1-4.
Knowing Brian Noble, he'll examine this game though and know that his side will have to improve just in the little areas, particularly keeping hold of possession and not spilling possession, I should say, when they meet their opponents in the semi-final.
Come on, Wakefield. Have a look.
That draw coming up just after 6 o'clock here on Sunday Grandstand. Leeds, St Helens and Warrington confirmed as participants in that draw. Warrington have beaten Villeneuve 32-0. Bradford on their way to victory. Oh, and Vicona's pass to Robbie Paul went astray when they seemed almost certain to score. Ben Router making the tackle. Referee didn't enjoy that and has given a penalty to Wakefield.
I just wonder if this looking at the shadows on the field there, you could see that maybe the sun was in Vicona's eyes, but he should have found Robbie Paul. It would have been a try if he could have collected.
So just to confirm that, score from Wilderspool: Warrington 32, Villeneuve 0. Leeds, St Helens and Warrington. 3 of the 4 semi-finalists we know.
Tackle one.
In truth, we know the 4th with that scoreline. The Bradford Bulls. Boatene. He's shown some spirit. Paul Jackson missed out. Is Martin Pearson. And now Paul March. Thought of passing to Tupu, nearly lost the ball. Good tackle by Rigo. Savatabur. Paul March. Pearson. Ryan Hudson to Ben Router, the Australian. Oh, and it's gone to ground. And Bradford have it back.
0.
Wakefield's quest for a first score remains unfulfilled.
Have a look, come on. Here. 2. Go on, mate. Wait with me.
This current crop of Wakefield Trinity players doing their utmost to compete with one of the best sides, but I wonder what Neil Fox on the left there, shielding his eyes from the sun, one of the all-time greats, makes of this. When he played for Wakefield, particularly in the early 60s, they were one of the dominant forces.
West! Get up! Come on, Julian!
Deacon.
Onside, play on.
Cross goes Holland. Trying a little bit of adventure. Gains 10 metres.
Take the line. Marcus. Paul Deacon, get
News
back
of the
here.
situation on substitutions. There's a bit of an injury worry to Jamie Peacock. He's limping around rather gingerly. Bradford have 1 substitution left. Wakefield are fully out.
That's 3. Stand up, Joe. Stand up. Hand off the ball.
Yes, Jamie Peacock not moving at all freely at the moment. Here's Pearson, and now Richard Smith.
Okay, that's 4. Now stand up clean.
Not turning into a particularly good weekend for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats.
Last. Come on, back fellas. Last tackle.
Here's Pearson.
40-20. Play on. All onside now.
Off the shins of Stuart Spruce, who's already scored 1 spectacular try. Well, we've had so many forward passes, and yet arguably the most crucial was the one that was missed, the first of the game.
But this was easy to spot. Some jeers from the crowd.
After him though, inside. Okay, mate.
Hockey.
Stand up, stand up, stand up. Come on, Scott.
Does seem extraordinary in a professional sport that a player should appear without a number. To Tupu. Oh, good pass, Paul Marks. Oh, won back by Joe Vangenaar, showing great agility for such a huge man.
And what a pick-up, one-handed, got down low, snapped the ball up before he could find the support player of Wakefield.
Oh, and to Tupu, getting involved with James Lowes. And Vangenaar acting as the prime peacemaker.
Right, move back, fellas.
One for Stuart Cummings to sort out.
Tony, come on. That'll be a later. Come on, move back, please. Right, take him back. Go back over there. Go back over there. Steve. Go back,
James
please.
Lowe's just smiling there. He knows he has to keep his temper in this situation. Not sure what caused it.
Against Wakefield. Right, Tony. Penalties against you because you've got in. Right, Jim. Try and leave it alone, eh? Right, try and leave it alone.
And a few punches thrown, not really finding the target, but James Lowe's will have to be careful. Because Bradford are going into that semi-final draw.
Nice, mate. 10.
Anybody sent off, obviously, would miss
Get back on it. Wait.
the next match.
Fielden ran straight through Paul Marks and through Holland, but not Sommer to Boer.
Huge number advantage on the right-hand side if Bradford can move it fast.
Lowes to Forshaw, to Deacon, any number of recipients for the pass. This is Robbie Paul, and now by Kona, great take from a poor pass. Peacock.
Right, tackle 2, stand up, Martin.
If Bradford had moved it more rapidly, they would have got in there and then. Instead, it's by Kona.
Right, down for 3.
James Lowes, Deacon. It's like pulling a piece of elastic. Eventually it'll snap. It has snapped. It's Gardner, and Bradford are in again.
Daniel Gardner, the recipient of a pass from Forshaw, and a well-weighted one and perfectly timed. Not a problem with it this time, wasn't a forward pass. They were at full stretch again, Wakefield. The ball had been transferred quickly to the right, it now comes back to the left. Again, Deacon involved as the link, and Forshaw taking the tackle and then pushing the ball out with the right arm. Quite simple for Gardner in the end to cross the line, but well worked try for Bradford, and Wakefield at full stretch just couldn't get back, couldn't number off in defence. Stuart Spruce in the background there stood with hands on hips. He knows that this is probably going to be a try because the numbers were out here. Forshaw still had a lot to do with great skill. Superb support play.
Daniel Gardner scored here in pre-season and now has done it in the real thing. Paul Deacon from a similar position to his last kick. Marginal, but wide. Nonetheless, very healthy for the Bradford Bulls. They're heading towards the semi-finals, leading by 38 points to 0, and they've scored 7 tries.
If we can run this straight out, this high shot will show as the ball comes across a group of Wakefield players. If we can just wait until Paul Deacon passes the ball, you'll see grouped together these players here, and as the ball moves out now, as we run it again, they're attracted into the tackle from Forshaw, and the pass, there is nobody at home to stop the try scorer Gardner.
Bradford moving it well again. This is Lee Gilmore popping up on the left wing.
Leaving Tony! All the way, fellas, make the line.
Rigon, Deacon, Vangenaar, Forshaw. Ball being moved around very swiftly and adroitly. Robbie Paul. So much mischief in those hands. Stuart Fielder. And Wakefield have it back. It's been a galling weekend for Sir Rodney Walker, the former chairman here. He's also the chairman of Leicester City PLC and was at Filbert Street yesterday to see their famous cup defeat at the hands of Wycombe Wanderers. Holland.
3, this time with me, please.
Ben Router. Julian O'Neill.
Stuart, get out, Stuart! Marcus Square.
Down here at Pitchtide, I was chatting earlier to David Hinchliffe, the local MP and a lifelong Wakefield Trinity fan, and he was recalling the loss here to Bradford Bulls last season in the Cup. 46-0 it finished that day, and he said if it finishes any less than that, he would call that progress. We'll see whether he's going to leave a happy man today.
Jackson. Now a chance for Gareth Ellis. It's the last tackle and it's the handover.
Bradford keen to keep their scoreline reading 0 against Wakefield Trinity. Scramble went then to get back.
There's great resolve amongst these Bradford players.
Well, you asked the question, John, do players ease off in games such as this when they're ahead so convincing on the scoreboard? I think there was your answer. So keen to get back and make sure they didn't allow Wakefield to score.
You've got to control it.
Henry Paul with the luxurious position of being on the bench and being confirmed as the man of the match.
That's tackle 1. Hands out, Brian.
Brian McDermott in at the tackle there. Martin Pearson. Ryan Hudson to Tupu.
And 2. Hands out.
Hudson. Bradford determined not to crack in these last 3 minutes. Wakefield determined to break through. Holland.
That's tackle 4. Daniel, stand up, please.
O'Neill try and barge his way over. This is the last tackle. Can Wakefield break their duck? Pearson's kick. Hudson went in, and it was Shane Riggin that dived on the ball and grounded it.
Tried to get back in the field of play, but the referee on the spot to say that the ball had been grounded. Therefore, it will be a dropout under the post to Bradford.
Sort of waiting there, can you tackle, give it away a bit.
Riggin immediately getting to his feet and trying to get back into the field of play, but correct decision by the referee.
Deacon's dropout. Martin Holland.
This is one of the rare occasions where Wakefield have had back-to-back sets of 6 tackles to attack
Shane, stand up.
Bradford's line.
No penalty.
First of all, a mistake by Bradford, and then the dropout.
Gareth Ellis.
Stand up. Come on here, Robbie.
Brian McDermott out there will be enjoying this. He still lives in Wakefield. He was born in the town. The Bradford Bulls prop forward. His brother Paul used to play for Trinity. Pearson. Graham Law. Hudson. Oh, picked off by Rigon. And here's Gilmore. And they could go all the way again here. Gilmore, though, lacks support. Has to turn back inside. Lowe's to Deacon. Appeals for a forward pass from the few home supporters that are left. And the referee concurs.
Forward passes and mistakes from Bradford won't change the result, but I think they may have scored a few more points if they could have made some of those passes tell. They've already caused so much damage with their skill and handling.
Defensive pose from Wakefield's coach John Harbin, who will have watched and learnt. Probably hasn't seen a great deal that he didn't know about already.
He mentioned right at the start of the programme that he wasn't concerned that it was a squad game now and he had the youngsters to come in and fill in, but the truth is they haven't had the experience to combat Bradford's power, and also they've had very little options when ball in hand.
Counting down now. The Bradford Bulls, for the 3rd year in a row, advance to the last 4 of the Challenge Cup. 5 semi-finals in 6 years, 7 in 10. And it's going to take a mighty fine team to stop them. Henry Paul, the man of the match. The majority of the supporters here are those of the Bradford Bulls, and they acclaim a very comfortable and consummate victory. 12 points to Henry Paul through a try and 4 goals. 2 tries apiece to Michael Withers and James Lowe's. 1 each to Stuart Spruce, who ran most of the length of the pitch, and lastly to Daniel Gartner. 4 goals to Henry Paul, 1 to Paul Deacon. Gary Price and Wakefield well beaten, although far from disgraced. and Bradford's band will move on to the semi-final, and who knows, beyond that, possibly to another final. The draw is coming up, and Bradford comfortably are in it.
Quite an easy victory. A little bit of complacency at times from Bradford, but they've done the job in the first half, ahead by so many points, able at times to break through the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats defence with ease. And you've got a team full of power and great pace. You can finish tries and chances.
Do you think we're seeing a better Bradford than last year, or is it too early to tell?
I just think we're seeing a different kind of Bradford, a Bradford that's added another facet to the game, one that's a little bit more adventurous with ball in hand, rather than rely on the power and the speed. They now cause problems for teams just by putting those passes in once in contact, and it's so hard for a team to defend against.
Bradford's victorious players milking the applause as they make their way off the pitch, having now beaten Widnes and Halifax and Wakefield in this competition, as well as an impressive Super League victory over St Helens last week. They are a difficult team to stop. The man of the match, Henry Paul, is down there, and we can join Damien Johnson.
Henry, man of the match, happy with your personal performance?
I'm happy to get the win and go forward to the next round now.
Joe Lydon mentioned in commentary there's an extra dimension to Bradford this season. Do you recognise that?
Well, I think the coaching staff have put everything in place. It's our job to do it on the field, so they can't help us out there. But we're just going ticking along nicely. All the boys are contributing. That's the main thing. Everyone's having a go.
A couple of tries for you today, and you took them very well.
Yeah, well, I had a go. Just had to.
I think we can see them in a minute. There we go. Jimmy Lowe's fed the ball there.
Yeah, I mean, these are set plays that we do at training. Yeah, Diggs passed it on to me. Just you got guys like JP there, big, strong.
Suggestion of a forward pass.
No, I mean, to be honest, mate, Stu was in the right position. Just thinking too big, too strong today.
A word about Wakefield, they didn't give up today.
Dogged effort, we knew they would be. I played here myself, and I know what the spirit is like in the camp. Underdogs, they want to put up a big effort in front of their home fans, but we just ground them down, and like I said, we're just a little bit stronger today.
Well done today, Henry.
Thanks so much.
We've got James Lowe's here. James, happy with that 38-0? It was pretty comfortable in the end.
Yeah, the scoreline's not important. It's a one-off game, and we've made it through to the semi-final.
You scored a couple of tries. I think we can take a look at them.
Just following Danny up here. They're making the ball available, so you just got to keep on following them. And I was just in the right place at the right time.
Good support play.
Brilliant support play.
What you're renowned for, I suppose.
Oh no, I don't know.
I think we can have a look at the second one as well, James. No, it's coming up in a moment, but here he comes. You remember this?
Yeah, just like I say, just good support play. The second try, just followed Dan about and makes over for number 2. But like I say, it's not the score. It's winning the hat for the semi-final.
Who do you fancy in the last 4?
Doesn't really matter. They're all quality sides now, and you've just got to play who you've drawn out against.
Well done, James. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thanks.
Brian Noble, Bradford coach. Were you happy with that performance? I know you're never fully happy, but pretty comprehensive.
Absolutely delighted. We knew it'd be a tough nut to crack, and they dug in there. They played for 80 minutes despite the scoreline, and very pleased with the 0. And I thought we played some great rugby at times. Perhaps we overplayed and kept them in the game in the second half.
What have you changed this year, Brian?
Oh, we changed a few people. With 4 in and 4 out, and they're just playing with a lot of confidence. They know their abilities, and we just got to express the fact that they're a skillful team, and they need to use that as well as the awesome power they've got as well.
It was a no-win situation today in a sense because everyone backed you to win.
Yeah, I'd sooner be in that situation than perhaps the one that Wakefield's in. We've got some good players. It's just create the right environment for them and let them play.
People will see the semi-final draw and say it's not going to be Leeds again, is it?
Oh, you can't really make me. I wish you could choose in a semi-final. Any semi-final game is going to be a huge challenge for any team, and but we'll be up there for it. We're focused for that, and we've got a Super League game next Friday to focus on now.
Thanks very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Every picture tells a story.